Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the all-new Hyundai IONIQ 9. So we'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 26 Hyundai IONIQ 9, and now there's a few different trim levels. This one is going to be the Performance Calligraphy. So this is kind of in the top tier of the food chain when it comes to the IONIQ 9s, but you're going to have your S, your SE, the SEL. There's different battery options. There's going to be a few different all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive models, so we'll try and cover some of that when we're on the road. But for now, let's put it in drive. We'll go for a spin around. Now let's start with, what is the IONIQ 9? Now this is Hyundai's third row all-electric SUV. Now you may have seen its cousin, the Hyundai EV9, out on the road because it's going to be very similar and does kind of share platforming with that vehicle. But the IONIQ 9 is going to be all new, but it keeps Hyundai's new and fresh design language through this vehicle, and it does look really cool. Now on the exterior, there's going to be a few different wheel options when looking at the IONIQ 9. This particular Calligraphy rides on the 21-inch wheels. Now this one is also going to be all-wheel drive. So kind of the standard version, the S would be a two-wheel drive model, and there's going to be a long range or kind of the smaller range when looking at the model, and it also can change the power of the vehicle. So if we're looking at horsepower numbers for this, 215 would be the base. As we move up from there, you can add about 89 horsepower, and that would go up to 303. When we get up to the top dog model, this is going to be 422 horsepower. Now this isn't a huge SUV, but this is a pretty quick SUV. And what's neat, it doesn't drive like a Suburban or maybe some of the other third row SUVs on the road. This drives more like an IONIQ 5 or a Tucson to me. It's very light on its feet, and it's pretty fun to drive as well. Now there is a few different drive modes, so you can go between kind of the eco, normal, and sport. When I kick it into sport, it's actually got active bolsters in the side here, and that will actually pull the seats in, makes it a little bit more sporty feeling in here, just gives you that little bit of added grip and comfort when you're behind the wheel. Now, one other thing that's cool, you can hear the blinkers on. It actually has a blinker camera. So whether you're going left or right, in the digital gauge cluster here, it actually pops up a small display that shows you your blind spot on the side. I love that feature. I wish all new cars had that. This also gets a full 360 view camera. So you would have to be trying pretty hard if you were going to bump into something, because the view is so good out of here. It shows you out front, out back. I can actually push a little button down here on the center console, and that will also pull up the view when I'm at the stoplight here if I can't quite see. That is pretty sweet. Now another kind of safety camera in here would be the digital rear view mirror. So if you go to the Calligraphy, that's going to get that digital rear view. If you're going on a long road trip, got all your camping gear in the back, you can actually flip that to show a camera out of the back. It's super cool, works really well, and does just add that little bit of added safety. Now we're kind of jumping onto the on-ramp here. Let's put our foot down and see. Oh yeah, it's pretty quick. You can definitely feel that 422 horsepower when you're behind the wheel, because being a big, heavy SUV, as all the kind of EVs are, they're still really quick. That instant torque makes it so much fun to drive. But the other cool thing about the IONIQ 9 is how quiet it is in here. It actually has, I think, kind of a twin or dual layered glass in the front and second row, so it really does knock down a lot of that road noise. This is actually a pretty windy day today, and not getting any of that noise when you're on the road is amazing. That's one of the best things about the EV vehicles. They're quiet inside, they're comfortable in here, especially with the Calligraphy, because of all the cool equipment you're getting. Now let's start in the back. So obviously if you're looking at a third row SUV, you want to know about how much room you get back there. The kids are going to be more than comfortable. Where I sit at about 6'1", it does get a little bit tighter, but what's cool about the second row, those are actually a power seat. So you can move those forward. The little kids can even reach in and press the button, and it will automatically fold and then slide the seat forward. Makes it really convenient when you're loading everybody up, especially if the kids can do it. It's a fun thing that you can do over and over, or on the kind of shoulder area of the seat, you can also click the button there. In the third row, there's also USB-C charging back there. There's additional buttons you can press to kind of move the second and third row, but even with the power liftgate open, you can actually power fold that third row up and down, or the second row. So like I said, if you're going on that road trip, you want to load up the entire vehicle, or you just got your hands full leaving the grocery store, you can just click those buttons, folds the seat, makes it really easy, and just makes access a breeze. Now in the second row, those are actually heated and ventilated seats for the driver and the passenger. But one thing that's really cool is there's kind of an extendable lower footrest. So you can get pretty comfortable back there. You can fold the seat back, put the footrest up, have any USB charger you need plugged in back there. The kids are gonna love it on a road trip or just day-to-day use. It does make it pretty fun and comfortable. Now, what about the driver's seat? So the Calligraphy does add a heads-up display here, so I can see the speed limit sign. I can see some of my safety features that I'm using as well. If the adaptive cruise control or the lane departure system is working, that would also show you up above. Now, one thing that's cool on the steering wheel here, there's little paddles. So I can change from level 0, 1, 2, 3, or kind of a full I pedal. So you instantly maybe can see on camera how I go forward. So what that's doing is sort of like maybe if you've ever driven a Tesla or any of the other EV vehicles, it's one pedal driving. So it'll actually come to a complete stop when you're lifting off, can kind of help you regen some of that power back. So that can add to the range a little bit and just kind of change the driving style, which is pretty unique. Now I do have wireless Apple CarPlay as well as wireless Android Auto. So there's wireless charging down here on the center console, Google Maps, text messaging, Spotify, it's all built into the screen here. Makes it so safe and easy, especially if you got the kids back there. Maybe they're getting a little rowdy, you're trying to figure out where you're going. The CarPlay screen in here is awesome. And then you just have a digital gauge cluster on the other side. So basically, that's gonna show you just mainly your pertinent information, but there is a lot of usable good stuff over there. And then one other thing in the main Hyundai screen, you can look at all your EV settings. So if you're trying to figure out your range, where to charge, when it can charge up, there's so much good stuff in there. It really does make it pretty simple. Now the steering wheel is going to be a little bit different in the Calligraphy from the Limited or some of the other models. It's a two-tone leather steering wheel and it's going to be heated. So to tackle those Minnesota winters, I love that feature. We've also got a full panoramic sunroof in here with kind of a suede headliner in the Calligraphy. It looks awesome. It just adds that sort of upscale luxury interior and I really do like it. Like I said, it's super quiet in here and comfortable. It's just an easy vehicle to live with day to day. Now these seats with those cool bolsters in them are actually heated and ventilated. So there is a remote start on the key fob. Even though it's electric, you can get it cooling down. But what's cool, you can even do it from your garage. You don't even have to let it outside because without the emissions, you can get it heated up. It's pretty nice, especially for, like I said, tackling those Minnesota winters. It's one of those great features and kind of convenient things with EVs. Now you will also notice the Bose sound system in here. So we had the tunes going earlier. If you're listening to podcasts, anything like that, the Bose system does make a pretty big difference. And just some of the appointments through the Calligraphy, whether it's the Limited or the Calligraphy, it can change a little bit in here. This kind of silver turned aluminum look, it all just works together very nicely. Now there is, like I said, this center console here for your phone, but what's cool is it can move. So you can pull the little handle up, it slides forward and back, makes it really easy to get very comfortable in the seat, or if you need a little bit of extra room in the back, or the center console is very deep, and you can actually access it from the front and the back, and there's a little storage cubby underneath. So if the kiddos are looking for something, that's pretty cool. And again, there's like a ton of USB-C charging in here. You could pretty much plug in anything you need on that road trip, and it's gonna be charged up when you get there. So now that we're out here on the highway, let's talk about the range. So this particular one is gonna have 311 miles of total range. I think kind of the headline grabbing one would be the longer range with the two-wheel drive. That would go over 330 miles. But with the all-wheel drive system and all this equipment, having an over 300-mile range is gonna be pretty awesome. Now let's talk about charging this vehicle. So Hyundai claims it can go from 10 to 80% on a 350 kilowatt hour in as little as about 24 minutes. So if you've got one of the pretty fast chargers by your house, you can get this thing cooked up from 20 to 80% pretty much in no time at all. Or if you have a charger installed at home, I believe Hyundai's even currently offering either a $400 credit or a level 2 charger to be installed at your house. Now let's talk about the pricing. So if you're looking at the IONIQ 9, the S or kind of the base model will start around that $58,000 price point. Now this particular one, all loaded up like it is, gets a little bit closer to about $77,000. But a very important thing to note is that Hyundai currently, because they're built in the US, you do qualify for that $7,500 federal tax rebate. So that kind of takes that price off the top and makes it pretty good looking, especially if you're looking at the lower tier trim levels. So overall, I love the design language on the exterior. There's some really cool colors. The Calligraphy kind of gets this two-tone H-Text seating. So this is obviously the gray with the lighter tan. You can just do a full black interior, or the green color came out for the IONIQ 9, which does look really awesome, and I'm very excited to see that one. But this Calligraphy definitely competes with some pretty serious vehicles. But I think if you're looking for something that's electric, you need the third rows, whether it's the bench seat in the second row or the captain's chairs like this one. There's a ton of cool technology, safety, and I think great style on the outside. Makes the Hyundai IONIQ 9 definitely one to add to the list to come and check out and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the new Hyundai IONIQ 9. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at Walser.com or stop by either one of our Hyundai locations. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.